Hi geographers, and welcome to the latest video of the Castle View Geography YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do to start with today is, can you please write the title and complete the do now. So please pause the video now to do that. Perfect, thank you. Answers: number 1 is 27 degrees. Number 2, this is because the sea temperature only reaches 27 degrees during the summer months. Number 3 is happen further north and south than 30 degrees. Number 4 is because they lose their source of energy, which is the water. Number 5 is calm. Number 6 is a self-raising barrier. Number 7 is Ruby Banks Road did not flood in 2015. And number 8 is 40%. If you did the stretch it, this means many people are forced to drink contaminated water, which can lead to the spread of diseases like cholera, therefore decreasing the economically active within Lagos, preventing the development of the city further as there's less taxpayers working. Right, so today we're looking at the evidence and causes of climate change. Just a few keywords. You don't need to get ice cores down if you remember it from year 9, but the Quaternary period is a keyword to write down, and that is the current geological time period on Earth, and it covers all the time humans have been on Earth. So pause the video here to get that down for me. Thank you. Right, let's crack on. So the Earth is around 4.5 billion years old, and over that time the climate has changed greatly, and the planet has experienced very hot and very cold periods of time. Figure 2 just shows us how scientists divide time throughout history, and the current time period we are in is called the Quaternary period, and it began around 2.6 million years ago. During this period, there has been a clear pattern of climate change, and climate change, all that means is any significant change in Earth's long-term temperature over a period of time. So, just got a quick little graph just to show you what I was talking about. This graph shows you the last 500,000 years on Earth, and we can see that global temperatures have fluctuated. We have periods of glacial, which is colder than average temperatures, and interglacial periods, which are warmer than average temperatures. If you do not know those words, please do pause the video here to write down. Glacial equals colder, interglacial is warmer. And what we can see around 420,000 years ago, it was a glacial period. Temperatures were down here around 5 degrees global mean temperature, whereas around 120,000 years ago it was an interglacial period and the global mean temperature was 12 degrees. So we can see that this climate change, these long changes in Earth's temperature, have fluctuated throughout history. However, what we're getting now is into this global warming sort of part of the Quaternary period caused by human actions, and this is just a quick graph to show you that there's a strong correlation between carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and global temperatures. And as you can see, as the amount of CO2 has increased, particularly over the last 200 years, we can see the significant rises in global temperatures. More on that later. So let's have a look. What is there as evidence that the Earth's climate is changing? The first one is ice cores. Okay, these are ice sheets in Antarctica, which are made up of many layers of ice. Each time the ice forms, it freezes the atmosphere. So this ice, I mean, can show particles of the atmosphere. It can show what gases make up the atmosphere. The ice cores, they preserve these bubbles of what the atmosphere was like at the time, which means that they show the amount of CO2 and methane in the atmosphere over history. By drilling down and removing a core of ice, scientists can measure the air bubbles at different time periods. What they're looking for is if there's a high concentration of gas in an ice core sample, that would imply that temperatures were warmer. If there are fewer gas particles in a sample, that would imply temperatures are colder. And this can give data going back 800,000 years. So it's a really, really good source of evidence to show long climate change. Another evidence of climate change is pollen analysis. So this is pollen from plants can get trapped and preserved in places like the bottom of lakes or peat bogs. By taking a sediment core from the bottom of the lake, scientists can examine the types of pollen in different layers going back. This tells them what the climate was like and how it changed at different time periods, because certain plants will grow at warmer periods, certain plants will grow in colder periods. So by analysing the pollen count within the sediment, they can say and infer what the climate was like. Another piece of evidence is tree rings. Each year a tree grows, it grows a ring in its trunk. And you can count the rings to work out the age of a tree. But these rings aren't all the same thickness, and the thickness of the ring tells us how much the tree has grown in a year. So what scientists can do is they can study and they can see that when tree rings are thicker, the climate conditions were warm and wet. However, when the tree ring is thinner, this would assume that the tree didn't grow as much in that year, so therefore the global temperatures would have been cooler and drier. And the last piece of evidence has sort of come in due to scientific discoveries in the late 1860s, and this is temperature records. So since 1860, scientists have developed technology which can accurately measure the temperature. This means that we have actual data showing the temperature from 1860 through to 2025, and by using the thermometers we can record and see if the temperature has or has not increased. So what I'd like you to do for me now is I'd like to draw out this table on the piece of paper you're working on, and the first thing is I want you to write the correct description for ice core samples, tree rings, pollen analysis and temperature records. They are here. I then want you to look at the advantages and disadvantages and label them or highlight them, advantage or disadvantage, and then rank them 1 to 4. What do you think is the most reliable piece of evidence to prove that the Earth's climate is changing? Once you've done that, if you could explain what you think is best and explain what you think is worst. I'll pause it there and let you do that for me. Brilliant, well done. I realised that was quite a lot of writing for you, and it was quite a big task early doors, so really well done on getting that. Hopefully, did you get your answers should correspond to that. Perfect. Well done, geographers. Change anything if you got it wrong. Okay. So, global temperatures are changing. In recent years, in recent decades, I should say, temperatures have increased, and this significant rise in temperatures is called global warming, which is caused by the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect itself is a natural occurrence, and the Earth's atmosphere acts like a greenhouse. What this means is naturally occurring gas in the atmosphere, CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide. What they do is they trap long-wave solar radiation. Without them, Earth would be too cold for us to live on. The part of the figure 4 on the right is the human enhanced greenhouse effect, and this is just where the atmospheres become thicker with more greenhouse gases released by humans. As the atmosphere is thicker, more long-wave solar radiation has been trapped, therefore causing global temperatures to significantly increase. So again, like I reminded you, the atmosphere acts as the greenhouse. It allows shortwave solar radiation into Earth. However, when that long-wave solar radiation tries to leave, the gases trap it. Okay? I've said this already, but just to remind you, the greenhouse effect is natural. Some rays come through the atmosphere. Most of the heat is radiated off the surface of the Earth and into space. Some greenhouse gases, the naturally occurring ones, trap long-wave solar radiation, makes Earth warm enough. Human enhanced greenhouse effect has occurred over the last 200 years. More greenhouse gases have been released into the atmosphere. This means less long-wave solar radiation escapes because it's trapped. So now there's more heat in the atmosphere, so global warming occurs. Right, I'm going to see if hopefully this video will work for you. We can watch this quickly and then we can crack on.
Global warming, or none like it hot. You're probably wondering why your ice cream went away. Well, Susie, the culprit isn't foreigners, it's global warming.
Global wobble?
Yeah. Meet Mr. Sunbeam. He comes all the way from the sun to visit Earth.
Hello, Earth. Just popping in to brighten your day. La 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 la. And now I'll be on my way.
Not so fast, Sunbeam. We're greenhouse gases. You ain't going nowhere.
Oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, oh, God, it hurts.
Pretty soon, Earth is chock full of sunbeams. They're rotting corpses heating our atmosphere.
Right, so hope you enjoyed that little quick clip. It's brilliant to show you that the solar radiation is trapped by greenhouse gases. What I'd like to do is just copy out this paragraph on the greenhouse effect and enhanced greenhouse effect, and just use the words to match any changes and fill the gaps. I mean, so I'll pause it here for you and get it done. Brilliant, really well done, guys. What you should have got is the sun rays comes to Earth and pass through the atmosphere. The rays reflect off the Earth's surface and some are trapped by the atmosphere while others escape into space. This balance keeps the Earth warm enough to sustain life. The enhanced greenhouse effect. However, as more greenhouse gases are released, the atmosphere is getting thicker. This results in more of the sun rays being trapped, which is causing the climate of the planet to increase. Brilliant. So humans, what I suggest you do is I'm going to talk through 3 ways that humans cause climate change. As I talk through them, I would write notes. I would write the knowledge and then the this means which means therefore, so you've got a nice little chain of reason to support you in the blue zone. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about is deforestation. Okay, the knowledge you need to write down. Humans deforest rainforests in Brazil each year. 1.3 million trees are cleared. This means less CO2 is absorbed by trees as photosynthesis no longer happens, which means the Earth's atmosphere is thicker with greenhouse gases, so more long-wave solar radiation is trapped, increasing global temperatures. The next cause of climate change by humans is changes in agriculture. Knowledge, due to population growth, there is a larger demand for meat, for beef, and Brazil is the world's largest exporter of beef and has over 232 million cows in the country. This means when cows digest grass, they release methane into the atmosphere, which means the atmosphere becomes thicker with greenhouse gases, so more long-wave solar radiation is trapped. Therefore, global temperatures will significantly increase. And finally, human use of fossil fuels such as coal, oil and gas to power industry, to power transport. Knowledge could be China burned 3 billion tonnes of coal in factories in 2020. This means as the coal is burnt, carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere, which means the atmosphere becomes thicker with greenhouse gases, so more long-wave solar radiation is trapped, therefore increasing global temperatures. Hopefully you saw there was a repetitive nature to the chain of reason there, guys, but please feel free to rewind and make sure you've got 3 KUU chain of reasons written down for the human causes of climate change. And finally, we're just going to talk about the natural causes of climate change, because as we saw at the start of the lesson, over the last 500,000 years, global temperatures have fluctuated between glacial and interglacial periods. So what's been causing that change in temperature without the humans releasing the greenhouse gases? The first one is the orbital change. Again, I suggest you write down KUU as we go, or jot down the bullet points. So orbital change, or it's known as the Milankovitch cycle, and this refers to Earth's orbit around the Sun. So Earth orbits the Sun once a year. Over 96,000 years, Earth's orbit changes from circular to oval. When the Earth is closer to the Sun, solar radiation has a shorter distance to travel, so it is warmer. When the Earth is on an oval orbit and it's further away from the Sun, the solar radiation has further to travel, so temperatures on Earth will decrease. Another natural cause of climate change is volcanic eruptions, okay? And before you think volcanic eruptions, they make it warmer, they don't. Volcanic eruptions lead to global cooling, okay? Knowledge. Volcanic eruptions release large amounts of ash into the atmosphere. These ash clouds block the sun rays from reaching Earth, and due to less solar radiation reaching the Earth's surface, global temperatures decrease. A bit of PLC you can pop in is after Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1991, global temperatures decreased by 0.5 degrees. And the last one, changes in solar output caused by sunspots. So sunspots are cool, dark areas on the sun's surface, and these change every 11 years. There's more or less of them. And what these sunspots do is they cause sudden explosions of solar energy to be released, called solar flares. When there are more solar flares, Earth's temperatures get higher. Brilliant. So just check you've got KUU for all of them, guys. That is fantastic. So before you go into your blue zone, I've just got this here for you, so I'll let you pause it here. And I wouldn't write out the sentences because you've just got them above, but if you write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or so on for all of them, and then just fill the words in you think should fit in the sentences. Awesome, guys. So I'll go through the answers. Number 1 is once a year. Number 2 is 96,000 years. Earth's orbit changes from a circular to more oval shape. This means there are times when Earth is closer to the Sun, which means temperatures are higher. Volcanic eruptions, your number 1 would release lots of ash. Number 2, atmosphere. This stops the sun's rays. Number 4, temperatures are lower. And sunspots, number 1 is sunspots. They cause solar flares, number 2, which are explosions of energy. And number 4, temperatures are higher. So, blue zone task for you guys is, using this figure, identify the global temperature in 2010. 1 mark, just write the number. Number 2, what's the global temperature in 1920? Again, just write the number. Then you've got to explain 2 pieces of evidence other than global temperatures to show climate change. So you need to do a KU on either tree rings, ice core samples, pollen analysis. Do not talk about temperature records. Number 4, explain how agriculture, so farming and the use of fossil fuels, can increase global temperatures. Again, KU. Number 5, suggest how orbital change can affect global temperatures. Say what orbital change is, how does it lead to the change in temperatures, KUU. And then outline how volcanic eruptions can impact the global climate, KU. So pause the video here, complete your 6 questions. If you've done this to catch up from missing a lesson, please bring the work in with you to show your teacher and stick it in your book. Alternatively, if you've done this for revision purposes, please just email your teacher the work and they'll be happy to mark it and give you any feedback on this. Have a great day. Please remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date with everything CVA Geography. Bye.